Like2Talk Podcast.
Hello, thanks for joining the Like2Talk Podcast. I'm here with my special guest, Hajji Mostafa Karim. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
Oh,
yes.
Amazing. He is the founder of Muslim Marriage Services, and he's also a mental health advocate. So I'll, first of all, let's get stuck in. I just want to know, why is it you decided to come up with a business, a marriage business, because I believe you were married 3 times, was it?
Yes.
Right, okay. So if you go into that and let me know.
Sure. Basically, I had a vision in 2015 to build the safest marriage service ever built. Obviously, it took time to do that. And I managed to secure the name Muslim Marriage Services in 2018. And it's been a long process. We did launch in 2023 after a couple of years of R&D. We got a world-class team in Kolkata in India, my mum's paternal home city. And I visited the team last year whilst I was in Bangladesh for most of the year. That was great. And such an important thing now in terms of why we need such a secure service. A lot of other sites are out there. They talk about the need for culturally aligned Muslim marriage services. But the problem is some of these sites are traditional, so they don't actually align with the modern values that we should be looking at. Okay. They don't deal with ID checks, and that's unfortunate. And a lot of these sites are imam approved, which is ironic. They believe in community blind trust to actually go through security. So if you've got a problem, then how is the community going to actually say who's fake on the system? With our system, that's virtually impossible with our Yoti digital ID checks.
Okay, how does it make it impossible? Because you must get black accounts joining you. What kind of checks do you go through?
Well, the most important thing is a social impact fee. That's critical. So there's an actual paywall defense mechanism. So that will attract true members who care about social impact activism. And especially amongst the Gen Z people, those communities, they love that sort of thing. So that will attract people who think, okay, it's not a free site, but the social impact fee, that is what I care about. They care about what's going on in the world, and therefore they don't have an issue going through an ID check. That will virtually prove who's actually coming on board. I'm not saying it's impossible to fake, but a profile, but it's virtually impossible to do so. Because it's airport level security with Yoti, and they're a certified B corporation, similar to our certified social enterprise status.
Yeah. So are all these people that go onto your website, they all looking for love? Are they all looking for the person they want to settle down with? Because I believe with Muslims, they can have up to 4 wives at a time. How do you monitor this? Are they allowed to go on your website and get as many wives they want, or have you got a cap on that?
So polygamy is a general term for marrying multiple spouses, including polygyny, a man with multiple wives, and polyandry, a woman with multiple husbands, practiced really in parts of India, Nepal, and Africa. Islam only permits polygyny, but more to the fact, non-sororal polygyny, where the husband cannot marry 2 sisters at the same time.
Nice. And
there are reasons for that. And even then, under strict conditions of justice, equal financial support, and fair treatment of all wives. And historically, it's also served to protect widows and orphan children after wars. Unfortunately, some men, particularly in the West, misunderstand this allowance, assuming it's a God-given right to marry multiple wives without meeting these conditions. In such cases, they're often not mentally or financially prepared to provide for their wives equally, which goes against Islamic principles. And that issue was highlighted quite well by a Channel 4 documentary in 2014 called The Men with Many Wives, which highlighted the fact there's around 20,000 polygynous marriages in the UK alone.
Right, okay. Good answer. But is this all explained on your website? And are you strict and do you monitor all this on the website? So
yeah, that's a great question. So for example, if a British brother or sister was looking to get married, they would clearly put down the marital status on the filters. So they could be single, they could be divorced, but they cannot be looking for a polygynous relationship.
Yeah, okay.
But for example, if somebody was from Bangladesh, where I'm from, then that's a different matter because that's allowed. But it has to be clearly stated, and you have to follow the law of the land in which you live. And that's the only way that we can monitor it. But the key thing is the ID checks will minimize any kind of fake interaction regarding that.
Right, okay. And in terms of the platform itself, what sets it apart from, I know you mentioned all the security checks, things like that, but what actually sets the platform apart from the other marriage sites or other dating websites? What actually sets it apart? I do know you did mention the security, but is there anything
that's
else?
a great point, yeah. Security is only one aspect. So we're the world's only certified social enterprise, Sharia-compliant marriage platform. We've got a female Sharia scholar on our Guardian Council, and she's also a well-known global family solicitor as well. So with our Guardian Council, that is key to have complete oversight of the organization. It's accountable. So it's not just one of those mainstream marriage apps or dating sites where you can't actually speak to anybody. You can actually speak to me. I do handle the communication at the moment until we get a team to do that. So that's key. People can reach out to me personally. In terms of other aspects, being a social enterprise, 50% of our profits, when we will start making that, hopefully in the near future, will be either donated to charity or be reinvested, and that is a law that we have to follow. We've got a couple of other new technologies, Dynamic Guardian, spelt with an IQ, as in dynamic, but that is really about letting the guardians monitor the whole system. They can actually see what their own family members are doing, and even the other party. They can even check the video profiles. They can discreetly join on video calls as well. We've got Profile Shield as well. That's really important if you want to share your profile securely with any member on our system, again, with optional guardian approval.
Right, okay. Also, I know you spent a lot of, you invested a lot of money in this. How much does the whole thing, if you don't mind asking, cost you to set up from start to finish? Or is it completely finished now, or are you still doing any checks on it?
It's a great question. Any kind of venture like this requires substantial investment. It's not a cheap thing. Whereas you can create a reasonable app for about $5,000, but you're not going to get any digital ID verification built in. It's just not possible. That requires a lot of money, and it's better to do that from the beginning as opposed to doing it later on down the line. It's been a work in progress, and it'll always be a work in progress. Things are changing all the time with AI systems and all that. We already have AI built in with Yoti ID checks. So it's been a huge undertaking, personally, mentally as well. I do work till 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes. So anybody who's into social entrepreneurship especially will understand how tough it is. So it's what I love doing. It's something that we do need, and it's something that will hopefully grow very well.
Brilliant. And what kind of stage is it at the moment? Are you making it profit on this, or is it just in early stages?
Very early stage. So although we have launched, it's going to take time to get people joining. We're up against other people, whether we like it or not. There's competition within Muslim apps. We don't need to compete. We're beyond that. It's about having a different philosophy in terms of what a social enterprise is about. Most people don't know what it is. Yet social entrepreneurship was very prevalent in the Islamic world 1,400 years ago. We've sort of regressed in terms of understanding what business is.
Yeah. Okay. And have you looked at men and mental health? Because I know there's an increase in mental health now. Do you, part of your business, do you look into that as well? Because obviously you don't want to match one person that's struggling mentally with somebody else, because that could obviously have some kind of effect with the relationship. Do you look into that as well? As you are a mental health advocate as well, so obviously this is a big part of your company.
And it also goes further than that. I mean, if you look at what I had to go through, I was 14 when my dad died. And I was the only one in that situation in our South Asian and medical communities to be bereaved at 14. Nobody else was. And I struggled a lot in terms of what I was going through. There was no mental health support from the NHS. You had to ask for it, and I didn't realize that at the time. I thought, okay, I'm bereaved. Surely the NHS is going to help me.
Yeah.
But I guess in those days, and this is 1989, NHS wasn't prepared for this kind of thing. It's a lot better now, but a lot has to be done to help people from the ethnic minorities. And especially when you're a son, the only child, you're going to miss out, in a lot of ways, direction in life, vision, guidance, mastery of life experience. I didn't have that. And this is why our innovative mental health clinics, which will be delivered very soon, hopefully, that is going to address mental health for everybody, for both men and women, regardless of background, but especially for people who absolutely need it.
So in terms of the Muslim community, why do you think they don't talk or they're not upfront about men's health a lot more?
I guess, should we even say the word scared? That's a real possibility. They're very reluctant to talk about it. It's all about strength, masculinity. How would people see them in the community if they mention this sort of thing? But it's important to note about the historical contributions to psychiatry from the Islamic point of view. The first psychiatric hospitals came from Islam. The golden age of civilization saw the establishment of the first psychiatric units, known as Bimaristans, in cities like Baghdad, Cairo, and Damascus. A lot of the treatments are pioneering. Physicians like Al-Razi in the 9th century, they developed innovative treatments like talk therapy, which is very common nowadays, a form of psychotherapy for psychological conditions. There was sound and music therapy, ironically, utilizing music and natural sounds, including Quranic recitations to calm patients, aromatherapy, using fragrances as a therapeutic tool. Diet and medication was important as well, providing balanced diets and medical treatments. Occupational therapy, engaging patients in various activities. Rejection of demonic explanations. So unlike some European societies of the time, Muslim scholars like Al-Razi and Ibn Sina viewed mental disorders as physiological and psychological conditions and not due to demonic entities.
Right, okay. And in terms of mental health, because you're from Bangladesh, you brought up here?
I was born in Bangladesh. My formative years were spent between both countries. I went back to Bangladesh in 82, lived there for about a year, came back. So it's in and out.
Because I believe mental health is worse in Asia. Well, compared to here. What's your take on that?
Well, if you look at, for example, South Korea, it's number 12 in the world for suicide. Japan's 49 in the world. And who would have thought Japanese people would have such terrible mental health issues? They do, unfortunately. In 2017, more than 4.1 million Japanese were diagnosed with mental health issues. And they are the most psychiatrically hospitalized people on a ward capita basis, which is unbelievable. And if you look at suicide globally, 70% are males aged 20 to 44. So you just wonder, why is this not being talked about? From my research, the Japanese government actually implemented a ministry of loneliness to combat this situation, especially for people who are leaving their jobs perhaps after 6 months out of a job, and that's really bad. They've got other crisis centers opened up, from what I understand, but there's a lot more to be done. Unfortunately, with the very high work ethic in these economically developed countries, they're also putting the health of the workers at risk by having a very, very high work ethic. And that's the irony. There needs to be a balance, and there isn't.
Well, I do find it hard to believe, because if you look at the Japanese community from an early age, they are pushed to eat right, the diet has to be perfect, even in school there's no processed food, because a lot of the mental health is just caused by what you consume, what you're eating. Obviously there are other factors as well, but it's just difficult to believe that the Japanese community is suffering more than any other.
And that's the irony. And I mean, I've actually been to Japan in 2012, and I saw how hard they work.
Yeah.
And I credit them for working diligently, professionally. However, you don't see what's going on in the background.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what they're feeling inside, or the pressure to perform 100%. At least we're talking about it in the West.
Yeah.
They don't. Why not?
Yeah.
According to NHS Digital, 3,307 Pakistanis, 3,407 Bangladeshis, and 2,195 Indians from 100,000 of their own community accessed mental health support. And that was, I think it was in 2021. That's really shocking. So that's just in Britain. So you can imagine how bad it is in back in Bangladesh and other countries. So if you look at Southeast Asia, more than 39% of global suicides are attributed to South Asians.
Do they have the support over there, though?
I don't think they do.
Okay, and I know we're more aware of it because obviously there's other things in place. You've got Mental Health Week, month, but I don't think they have it in Asia anyway. So are they actually aware of how severe it is? I know you've got the stats, but is the government doing anything to help him or?
Certainly in Bangladesh, I was actually involved with helping somebody out. They contacted me directly, actually, when I was in Bangladesh. Ironically, they heard about what I was doing through my website, and I managed to meet them in Dhaka, and I spent the best part of 3 to 4 months actually attending their own sessions. And that's trust. For somebody that doesn't see me or doesn't even know me, what does that tell you then about what we're trying to do? We're trying to help people. And the mental health aspect, it's not well known, really. If you look at, let's say, for example, autism, people think that's a disease. It's not a disease. They think it's to do with something like that. It's completely different, but it does affect a lot of people. And that's also related to mental health and how it's being addressed properly now in Bangladesh. There are more facilities opening up, but there's not enough. Can't comment for other countries around South Asia because they've all got different dynamics involved. But yeah, at least Bangladesh, they're opening up. But regarding the help required, there's still a lot to do. And there's still a lot to do in Britain even. People don't talk about it. So it's a global thing. It's not just happening in the West, it happens everywhere.
Yeah. One of the main reasons for mental health is people. It's hard to deal with people, marriages as well. They end up in divorces. So in terms of the divorce rates globally, how do you look into that for a part of your business? Because obviously, I assume a majority of them are going to be people that have divorced, so you'll be trying new ways of meeting people. So yeah, do you want to discuss that?
Sure. The problem with divorce, let's take it from a North American and British angle. So if you look at the general divorce rates in North America and Britain, you're looking at around probably over 40% in North America and around 40 to 42%, give or take, in Britain. So that's the general wider population. So that is equivalent to what's going on in the Muslim communities. Why are none of the other Muslim marriage apps, I should say, mentioning this? Why don't they? They're looking at operational scale. They want people to join. They don't want to talk about the bad bits, but we have to talk reality. This is what is happening. People are getting married 2 or 3 times. I know a lot of top tier families who are struggling with marriage and divorce. People in my own community, they're struggling. What are they not getting out of it? You know, are they getting any support? Who knows? Not telling me about it. Even my close friends won't talk about it. Why?
Yeah. It's a very difficult subject because the way I see it is men do talk, but people aren't equipped to hear it. A man will go to the friend and discuss the struggle. They'll just joke about it, brush it off, because they're not equipped to deal with it. Even when you go to work, talk to your manager, they don't want to know. They'll just find an excuse to get rid of you because it's too much paperwork. That's what's happened to me in the past. I mentioned I was struggling, and now they found a way to get rid of me anyway. So I do believe people do talk about it. It's just that they're not talking to the right people. They need to talk to a professional that's equipped to it, and that'll help them. What's your take on that?
It's a great point you make, because you have these EAP programs, and that's just for the sake of it. I think in a top class company, then you're most likely going to get help properly. In a SME, how many small businesses can actually afford services like that, or even refer you to the right people? You just wonder why there aren't any more MHFAs. It's ridiculous. And the thing with counseling in Britain, it's not a regulated profession where it is in America. So even if you're a life coach, you have to be regulated. You've got to be certified.
Yeah.
That's not the case in Britain, where traditionally these professions were considered voluntary.
Yeah.
So there needs to be a proper dialogue on the need for counseling and coaching, etc. So yeah, there's a lot of issues, and we can talk about why men in particular do suffer from that. So let's go into that. I mean, regarding men's mental health, there are several related reasons, and it's both cultural and psychological. Societal expectations and masculinity norms from a young age. Men are often taught to be strong, tough it out, or not cry about it, have a stiff upper lip. Expressing vulnerability is sometimes seen as a weakness, so men suppress their emotions or to conform to these expectations.
Yeah, I believe men has to suppress a certain amount of feelings anyway, because they've got a lot to deal with. They've got family to support, they've got this. If they start breaking down, they're not able to support the family, go to work, because they're broken down. That's the problem in society now. They become weak because they're all expressing themselves. They're all, what's the word?
Stigma.
Yeah. Yeah, so and that's the problem we're having now. Men are 2 weeks now, so
they've lost their masculinity, and it's not their fault. Society hasn't helped. So, I mean, there is the fear of judgment or stigma. Many men worry that sharing a mental struggle will make them look less of a man socially or professionally. The mental health stigma is stronger for men in many communities, especially around depression, anxiety, even PTSD. There's a lack of emotional vocabulary or awareness. Some men haven't been encouraged to identify or articulate how they feel. So they struggle to put their mental state into words. Problem-solving mentality. Men are often socialized to fix problems rather than talk about them openly. So instead of sharing feelings, they try to cope privately or distract themselves, which can worsen stress over time. There's also a fear of burdening others. Some men avoid discussing struggles because they don't want to worry or burden family, or family, friends, or partners wouldn't know anything what's going on. Limited support systems. Men are less likely to discuss these issues with their friends, whereas women don't have that issue. They have their own girlfriends, they have an inner circle. Men don't have that kind of close-knit community, so they're going to struggle more. There's the cultural religious pressure. So in certain communities, including some Muslim majority ones, men may feel extra pressure to be providers, maintainers, leaders of a community, which can discourage allowing to show their vulnerability.
Yeah. So, in terms of your Muslim marriage services, how does it address these kind of issues on any kind of level? So obviously you go through all these checks, things like that. But how do you manage this?
Regarding
your business, so you're looking at all these about the mental health and that. How did your service manage it or address these issues?
It's a good point. With mental health, that's something that we can see from a profile. No one's going to really put down, I suffer from XYZ, otherwise they're not going to be seen. They have to be open about it with their prospective or potential partner and discuss it internally with them. And get the family involved. And unfortunately, a lot of families do hide a lot of these facts, and it only comes out later on after marriage, and that can lead to a lot of issues like divorce, unfortunately. So this is why hopefully our innovative upcoming mental health clinics, which we're going to hold once a month, and we're going to have for men and women one-on-ones. That's going to hopefully resolve these situations.
Yeah, it's just going to be online, or is it going to be a classroom situation? It's all online, brilliant. And how are you going to set that all up? Is it just like you're just going to be talking through it, and then you're going to have people calling in, or
we're going to have it's a great point. We're going to have a general workshop every month. We are currently onboarding a doctor of counseling psychology to actually deliver these clinics, because that is something we absolutely need, and they are very well versed in said area.
Sounds like your business is looks at everything, and
We try.
yeah. Awesome, right? So I think we've covered most of all the things that I've got, because I've done a lot of research on your company, and I think we've covered it all.
There's one thing I should have mentioned. With our female Sharia scholar, Samara Iqbal, she is also a family solicitor. So her office is based in Manchester. She's got other offices in Middle East. She deals with family issues, divorce, prenups and stuff like that. So that also reduces the stress involved in terms of getting married. It also reduces the likelihood of mental health issues coming around.
Yeah, is she contactable, or is it just all through your website?
I mean, she gives the guidance in terms of what the Guardian Council should be doing. But of course, I mean, she can be contacted on LinkedIn. Being very busy. The first protocol would be to me, or our general email, which is on the website, and then I can forward any questions to Samara or the Guardian Council members if appropriate.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. To me, it sounds like your service is more than a marriage service. It's a community, and you just keep it up. You support some people that are struggling and helping people get together. It just sounds awesome.
It's a holistic framework. It has to be a one-stop shop in terms of what matters. It's not just about marriage. Anybody can create a marriage site, but not everybody can actually put it all together in terms of what you actually need. Family, legal support. We're actually onboarding a new law firm to have Sharia planning services in terms of inheritance. That's critical pre and post marriage. Most people don't do that. They don't look at what you actually need. A will, for example, during a marriage, or even a lasting power of attorney. These things are critical in marriage. Nobody's addressing this. We are. It's a complete holistic way of doing things.
Right. Oh, awesome. That sounds good. Have you got anything else to add in terms of your company and Men's Health, or have you got anything to add?
Well, I mean, we could go on and on. Ironically, most of my advisors are non-Muslim, and for whatever reason, I get on better with non-Muslims. That's why they help me out. My brand was selected by Martin Warner, who's one of the world's top entrepreneurs. He's a UK entrepreneur, and I was one of 30 startups that was selected last year for his entrepreneur seminar program.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks a lot for coming in to talk to us, and thank you for joining the Like2Talk Podcast. Okay, take care and good mental health.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem.
Thank you.